The 4th century Bishop Eusebius of Caesarea said that Constantine was baptized at Nicomedia, a city in modern Turkey, just before he died in the year 337. Eusebius personally knew Constantine and wrote his account less than 2 years after Constantine's death. His story was confirmed by Ambrose, the 4th century Bishop of Milan, who records that it was only in his final hours Constantine was freed from all his sins by the grace of baptism. The 5th century church historian Sozomen likewise said, "His illness, however, increased, and he went to Nicomedia and was initiated into holy baptism." The same story is told in numerous other sources. The problem in all this is that the bishop of Nicomedia was another Eusebius, who was the leader of the Arian heresy. He had called the synod that had overturned Arius' excommunication, and it was this that precipitated the Council of Nicaea in the year 325. At that council, he signed the creed, but he refused to sign the anathemas, insisting Arius had been misunderstood. He was exiled by Constantine for 3 months, but he worked with Arius to reword their teachings and convinced Constantine to return them to office, while exiling their opponents, including Athanasius. The Orthodox Saint Jerome in his Chronicon records for the year 337, Constantine, baptized by Eusebius of Nicomedia at the very end of his life, falls into the dogma of Arius. So complete was Eusebius's victory that months after Constantine's death he was made Bishop of Constantinople. There he called a council that approved a replacement for the Nicene Creed without the term homoousia. A generation later, Arianism was ultimately rejected by the Emperor Theodosius, and there was an attempt to rehabilitate Constantine's memory. He would eventually be declared a saint and equal to the apostles. To explain away his connections with Arianism, a work known as the Acts of Sylvester appeared in the 5th century, claiming to have been written by the same Eusebius of Caesarea, who had said Constantine's baptism was in the year 337 in Nicomedia. This account moved it back over a dozen years and nearly 1,000 miles to the west. Instead of being baptized by Bishop Eusebius, it had him baptized by Pope Sylvester in Rome. Constantine is portrayed as suffering from leprosy. He's told by the pagan priest he must bathe in the blood of infants. This is a dozen years after his dream and subsequent victory at Milvian Bridge. But we're to believe he was agreeable, until moved by the cries of the mothers he decided not to proceed. That night, Constantine is visited in a dream by the apostles Peter and Paul, who say they've been sent from Jesus in reward for his not killing the children. They send him to Sylvester, who shows him icons of the saints that he affirms were the ones from his dream. Constantine is baptized and his leprosy healed. Like so many such stories, it isn't content with a single miracle. It includes a contest between Sylvester and 12 rabbis. One whispers the divine name in the ear of a bull, and it immediately dies. Sylvester then whispers Jesus' name in the dead bull's ear, and it comes to life again. Sylvester is also described as stopping the mouth of a dragon. Despite contradicting established history, the acts were popular in Rome, in part because they arose after the city had been sacked by the Vandals. Rome had not only been replaced by Constantinople as the capital of the empire, but even the western part of that empire. In the year 408, the seat of government had been moved from Rome to Ravenna on the Adriatic. At a time when the Western Empire was on the brink of collapse, the Acts of Sylvester declared Rome the center of the Church. Its stories would later be expanded to include the claim that Constantine gave Sylvester and succeeding popes political power over the whole of the West. The Acts also found an audience in the East, because they helped distance Constantine from heresy and baptize the union of church and state. The significance of all this is not just that Eastern Orthodox rewrite history. They claim the same infallibility for their hymns as they do for their creeds, and they've hymned this story of Sylvester baptizing Constantine as real history. The Romanian Akathist to Saints Constantine and Elena reads, "Rejoice, for with the knowledge and will of God you fell ill with the disease of leprosy. Rejoice that the greatest saints of the apostles have appeared to you. Rejoice that through the teaching of the Holy Pope Sylvester you believed in our Lord Jesus Christ with all your heart. The Serbian version reads, Rejoice, because through the teachings of the Holy Pope Sylvester you believed in our Lord Jesus Christ with all your heart. And the Greek version reads, Rejoice, you who were baptized by Sylvester in Rome. What Eastern Orthodoxy hymns contradicts not only numerous histories, but also numerous saints. It's based on a demonstrable fraud, the acts of Sylvester. But now that it's been hymned, this trumps all the evidence, because the Church declares itself infallible.